This is Top Preps Recruiting Exposure Package Interviews by Sunil Sunder. Tonight, I'm happy to be speaking with Cedric Benning III, most recently a sophomore at Dickinson College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, a running back on the football team, and now in the transfer portal with 2 years of eligibility plus a red shirt remaining. Once again, Cedric, thanks for the opportunity, to speak with you. Congrats on your success playing football, especially here at Dickinson College.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. It's definitely a pleasure to be on this Zoom with Top Preps, especially you as well. I just say thank you for having me on this Zoom right now.
Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, no, it's a incredible, I said honor and privilege. Can you just right off the bat talk about playing for Dickinson College, especially this year? 11 games, rushing for 726 yards on 144 carries, 7 touchdowns, 5 yards per carry, 12 receptions, 7.78 yards per reception. All conference running back. I don't think you could have scripted any better here, Cedric, with what you were able to do on the gridiron.
Yes, sir. It definitely took a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication,
Yeah,
especially the work that a lot of people don't see. So
yeah,
that summer, that spring, definitely was a challenge for me because I knew I had to come back and showcase my talents because I couldn't really do that my freshman year
hmm
due to another all conference running back who had graduated. But yeah, this year was definitely phenomenal to say the least.
yeah,
Appeared in all 11 games, was real healthy. The beginning of the year was kind of slow for me
hmm
because first off the bat, we played ranked opponent Randolph Macon. They were ranked
okay,
15 at the time, and we had played them home. It was their home opener, first game of the season. Kind of went off a little slow. Then I would probably say third game of the season is when it picked up.
yeah,
I wound up rushing for 178 yards against Lycoming, at Lycoming on 22 carries as well.
mhm,
And then after that, it was just like a domino effect. I was just
yeah,
rolling over teams left and right, left and right,
yeah,
left and right. Especially
yeah,
once we got into conference play, I turned the gear up a little bit more.
hmm
Um, the last conference game of the season, I rushed for like 137 rushing yards and a touchdown on I think 19 carries. So
yeah,
I just try to make sure I was consistent this year, and also just not just to be a running back. I can be a blocker. Not being a
hmm
liability in the backfield, and also you know catching the ball too. I got a lot of catches on my film. I had a lot of receptions this year as well,
yeah,
which is kind of crazy because I worked on that all off season.
yeah,
Definitely worked on that. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure I like all the tools that I had and worked on during the summer and the spring that it was displayed this season, and it
yeah,
was. You know, I'm kind of happy about this season. I could do more, but I'm kind of happy how the way it went,
yeah,
and I was blessed to be there for all 11 games this year, so I couldn't ask for any other way than what it
yeah,
went.
yeah, yeah. It's tremendous. I mean, the fact that you can affect the game in so many, ways. Cedric, as you said, catching the ball, I said, receiving, then, also again as a blocker, picking up those blitzes, and the fact that, as have mentioned, those experiences really helped you grow as a player and leader this year. And the fact is that you were able to make that adjustment from your freshman year to your sophomore year. And again, it's all that all season the work, all the reps, as said, as you said, putting all that work, behind the scenes, and then getting those carries during the season, building up that, as said, strength. I'm sure again, and at the end of the season, obviously the results, showed, here, Cedric.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, what did it mean to put that number five Red Devils jersey on, that helmet every time you took the field here, Cedric?
Like it was just it definitely was um a blessing. Well, I
Yeah.
would say it was a blessing, to wear that number. I've been wearing it since I started playing football. Like I told you, I
Okay.
started playing football since I was 5,
Yeah.
and so my dad's kind of crazy for this, but I played football. I started at 4. but that
Yeah.
fall I was turning 5, and so that number just stuck with me. And
Yeah.
5 is just who I am as a football player.
Yeah.
It speaks a lot of volumes. It's more to that story than just the number.
Mm-hmm.
And so like just wearing that jersey, wearing that number, it doesn't matter the jersey, wearing that number itself speaks a lot of
Mm-hmm.
volumes, and I take a lot of a pride wearing that jersey,
Yeah.
wearing that
Yeah.
number. So
No, definitely. Hey, playing for head coach Brad Fordyce, also assistant football coach, offensive coordinator Scott Knapp. What have they meant to you in terms of your development, your progression, here and again, be able to have this level of success?
I truly appreciate them for the opportunity that they gave me coming out of high school. You know, they gave me a home here.
Hmm.
They were definitely great coaches, great mentors, great leaders as well. It's nothing I can't really, talk to them about. Um, you know, um, it's definitely more bigger than football.
Hmm.
That's what I would say. It's definitely bigger than football with them. Even when we were in season, I could just talk to them random times.
Yeah.
Just about life, school,
Hmm.
anything. They were all open ears. It's. I still have love for them. They still got love for me.
Yeah.
It's no bad blood over there.
Hmm.
I truly appreciate them as coaches and as mentors, and they just wanted to see what they just wanted to. They're happy that I'm going for what's best for me or what I feel is best
Yeah.
for me. So yeah, I would say that they were they were definitely it was great to have them a part of my life and my journey, and I
Hmm.
and they would definitely say the same. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful to hear it. Look, just circling back to the highlight videos, which are so impressive. The fact is that you're able to utilize your power, your speed, your strength, and I know a lot of kudos goes to the offensive line for opening up those
yeah,
running
yeah,
lanes for you to scoot right through and be able to find the back of the end zone. But I think what giving that maximum effort, hustling, on every play of course, the battle in the trenches at the line of the scrimmage. I mean, just describe that, Cedric. I mean, that's it. Again, it's a battle of attrition, but the fact is that every time you were able to again flourish. I mean, you're able to said duck and weave. Said cut left and right, and again that was obvious on the tape.
yeah. First foremost, shout out to my lineman, man. I like that. Shout out to them star five. We were the number one rushing offense in the conference, which is
Hmm.
kind of big because it is the number two D3 conference in the country. So we were the number one.
Yeah.
But in terms of the trenches, man, I've been doing that my whole life, been playing in this whole life. So
Yeah.
it was definitely different on the college level. The speed and the intensity and
Yeah.
the attitude is different. But I would say like. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like it's dirty, it's gritty. You know what I mean? You
Hmm.
gotta get what you can get sometimes.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that like it's kind of easier for me a little bit because I'm a little bit shorter. So like
Hmm.
they can't really see me.
Yeah.
They can't really see
Yeah.
me. And so all my linemen are like 6'2" and up. So they can't once
Yeah.
that ball snap, they can't really see me. But I'll definitely say you gotta have a different attitude to play
Hmm.
in in the box, especially the way I run, and especially type of runner I am. You gotta have a different attitude. You gotta have a different
Yeah.
demeanor about you. You gotta come, with more aggression than the next
Hmm.
person that's in front of you. Especially a running back of my height and size. And especially the way I play. Like I just said, you definitely just gotta come with a different attitude.
Yeah.
It definitely teaches you how to be a better player, also how to be patient too.
Hmm.
I think that's what the biggest thing was for me coming into college was being patient in the run game
Yeah.
because the speed of college is different no matter what level it is.
Yeah.
Speed is just different overall, and so I would just say like it that taught me how to be more patient, but also how to be more patient with my passion and my anger, you know what I mean, and my
Hmm.
grit, because you don't want to overrun the cut, like predetermine the cut, you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
oh because it's there now, but it might not be there in the next second. So
Yeah.
it's just a lot of things, especially playing in the trenches.
Hmm.
It's a perfect combination of like um, gritty, and also just being patient and using your head.
Yeah.
Not every time you got to be over aggressive. Sometimes the non aggressive will win in the box. So you
Hmm.
just gotta be smart overall about what's happening, and key about which alignment are doing, what front
Yeah.
they're in. Who's doing what. So I would say it's definitely a battle. It definitely tests your character.
Hmm.
And it definitely shows who you really are, in
Yeah.
that pace. Because not everybody can play in that. Not everybody
Yeah.
can.
Mentally and physically, and it's all about those X's and O's, read and react,
Yes, sir.
eye coordination, footwork.
Yes,
That's
sir.
there's a lot that goes into that. And then agility, mobility as well. Yeah, it's become 24/7, 365 in terms of training for football. I mean, what for you, like strength and conditioning, nutrition, what's been like the perfect blueprint for you? Like, again, you take your share of, bumps and bruises, lumps during the season, getting hit. I mean, but again, it all translates, to again the work you do in the off season.
Yes, sir. First, foremost, again, shout out to my trainers, my running
Hmm.
back coach, Roger Minoso, Ray Lowry, my strength and speed trainer, Corin
Hmm.
Akron, also Kadeem Rogers as well, and my dad, man. My dad also
Yeah.
plays a major part in my nutrition and my, how what my off season is gonna look like.
Hmm.
I would say my dad's a big factor about that. He kind of
Yeah.
correlates. I already said, I think you need to do this better, so you got hit or Rogers. Like I got
Yeah.
two running back trainers. I have three actually, but it's like
Okay.
all them specialize in something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, everybody has strong suits and that the other person don't
Hmm.
got. So you just gotta work with that. Also,
Yeah.
my dad's real big on the aftercare. Like taking care of my body.
Yeah.
You know, cryo. My dad was real big
Yeah.
on that. He, he
Yeah.
he got he got me in the cryo. He
Yeah.
got me in the cryo really, really
Yeah.
young. And also like, my strength and conditioning training, my speed coach is Corin Akron. He's the man with that. He's all about the taking care of your body, and Coach Rogers as
Hmm.
well. They were definitely a big factor of why I stayed healthy, because I've always had a lot of like feet problems because I'm flat footed. So,
Hmm.
they always help me like, roll out your feet, do this, foam roll it, like just little stuff like that, especially when you in season too. A lot of people don't talk about that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
that the work in the off season that nobody sees is cool, but it's work that need to be done in season. And
Hmm.
like my dad was also a big factor in that. Like, say you still got to work out in season. That's gonna keep
Yeah.
you healthier. You know what I mean? And so like that was also a key component of my season this year. I worked
Hmm.
out in season, like constantly. Just to keep my body fresh and sharp. And
Hmm.
I would say I got that from my dad, man. My dad helped me out with all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
he is the blueprint. He is the blueprint of that
Okay.
stuff, and he
Yeah.
just aligned the trainers in my path, and I love those guys. But I definitely say that in terms of like how the off season is all mapped out and the blueprint of it, I'll definitely have to say my dad. My
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah, that's outstanding to hear. Nothing better, than having, a parent, especially your father, said, pass down all that knowledge, and, it really, and values and beliefs, it really kicks in. Hey, talk about playing home games at Dickinson College, Biddlefield, road games as well, these past 2 years.
I would say home games is definitely fun, especially the
Yeah.
rivalry games, the games
Yeah.
that you get stuff in like the bucket and the wagon, like F&M, Gettysburg. A lot of people show up, especially alumni. A lot of alumni
Hmm.
pull up, and then they get with the festivities going on too, and
Yeah.
it's because it's a lot of festivities going on that
Yeah.
week, and it's amazing. The home games are amazing, especially when it's a big rivalry game like that. The best home game that I've been a part of at my 2 years here, I would probably say
Hmm.
would have to be my sophomore year when we played Gettysburg here, and
Hmm.
it was just the camaraderie about the whole school spirit. Everybody showed out. It
Yeah.
was packed. It was packed, and wound up winning that game. I think like
Hmm.
42 to 12 or something. We wound up winning that
Hmm.
game. But yeah, that was definitely the highlight of my year this year. The home games is definitely a good feeling, and especially when you come back in that locker room after the dub, and it's your
Yeah.
locker room. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
could party in your locker room, especially.
Yeah.
Um, But the away games, they kind of get crucial.
Yeah.
They kind of get crucial, especially like
Yeah.
I said, we had played Macon at their home, first game of the season. So they had everybody
Mhm.
there, and that's
Mhm.
in Virginia, deep in Virginia. So when we played them, it was a lot of rowdiness, and
Mhm.
it was a lot. We didn't have that many fans there because we were in Pennsylvania. So
Mhm.
we're in their home. So it
Yeah.
was definitely a different type of an environment. I'd say that for sure. And I would probably
Mhm.
say the next away game that was matched that type of environment was probably CNU, Christopher
Mhm.
Newport.
Yep.
Um, that was insane. I loved it up there. We won that game. It was their homecoming too, so they had a marching band out there. Their student
Mhm.
population was there.
Yeah.
It was packed. It was packed, man. It was definitely a different feeling. They talking about us on, like, some of
Yeah.
their players, some of their home team would come over to
Yeah.
our sideline and talk about us and stuff like that. But it's all part of the game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As you grow up, it's a part of the game. So
Yeah.
I just I ultimately that kind of get me hype. Like when I hear
Yeah.
like youth and national teams be talking, so it
Yeah.
kind of get me hype. But yeah, I mean, away games, home games, it's like it depends on how you take it. Like it
Mhm.
just depends on how you take it. But I'd definitely say the home games is better. Home games is better, in
Yeah,
my
no,
opinion.
no, no doubt about that culture, that brotherhood, the tradition,
Yeah.
said the school spirit is, again, is terrific. Okay, let's switch it up to high school football, a whirlwind, for you. As said, before we came on the air, you first attended Dave Matha for 2 years, then transferred to Pilati for a year. I know that experience you truly enjoyed. And you said a huge shout out to Coach Tony there, but then COVID hit, and you definitely wanted, said, a year, eligibility to finish out high school, which you did at Episcopal, and over the course of 2 seasons, tallied 16 touchdowns, earned all conference, rushed for over 2,500 yards, all state honors both years, and during your senior season, named Washington Post Player of the Week and Offensive MVP in the league. I mean, that is amazing. Just to see what you were able to accomplish there, at Episcopal. But I mean, from going again, making that transition from one school to another, but being able to finish it out on such a grand stage on that type of, note, I'm sure it was very fulfilling for you here, Cedric.
Yeah, it definitely was, especially the road that I took to get there.
Yeah.
Things didn't quite work out. My freshman year going in there, at the
Mm-hmm.
Mather, kind of didn't work out for me. I came back sophomore year, was on varsity.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't kind of work out for me either. No, all love to them boys at the Mather, but it just wasn't the right type of home and type of
Yeah.
environment that I wanted to be in at the time, and I had wound up finding a new home at Pilati, which Coach Tony, that's my guy right there. I love that dude. I'm at Palladian, Coach Tony
Yeah.
welcomed me in with welcome arms.
Yeah.
That time when I was getting ready to, go to Palladian, I was kind of lost. I kind of felt defeated at a sense because I had worked so hard my sophomore year, and like,
Yeah.
things just didn't go my way. It was COVID anyways. We only played 5 games, but we only had 5 games scheduled, but we wound up only
Mm-hmm.
playing three in the
Mm-hmm.
spring, and so I didn't really I didn't have like I didn't feel like happy or satisfied with that season, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like I didn't really get to showcase my talents as I really wanted to. So I mean, it was a blessing that Coach Tony had took a chance on me, and I
Mm-hmm.
rushed for 850 that year, my junior year with Pilati. Rushed for 850, had 6 touchdowns. I wasn't really healthy then, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't I missed like 4 games, but
Mm-hmm.
the production was still there. Shout out to Coach Tony and shout out to everybody at Pilati. Shout out to my uncle Coach Adrian. Shout out to all them dudes. They definitely kind of made me some of the player that I am today.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely always competition at Pilates. It was competition, competition. We was practicing on grass. It was a dirt field.
Wow.
Like, yeah,
Okay.
you talk about grit,
Yeah.
man. Talk about grit. We was getting after
I
it. Like,
know. Yeah. I
it was,
mean, facing those adverse conditions and then injury, overcoming that,
yeah,
it definitely tests your fortitude, both mentally and
yeah.
physically. But again, you were able to rise above the occasion.
Yes, sir. It was definitely an experience, and I love my time at Pilates. It was definitely great. But then at the
Yeah.
end of the season, I had wound up talking to my dad, and we was just like,
Hmm.
we just wanted another year that was stolen from me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that I just didn't think I got, and that COVID took away from me as well. You know, COVID took
Hmm.
a lot of people year
That's
away
right.
as well. So me, my dad, and my mom. Shout out to my mom. Love my mom too with this. We all sat down, had a family intervention, talked
Hmm.
about it, weighed out all the possibilities, um, weighed it all out, and we just thought it was best that I go to Episcopal, to get my
Hmm.
extra year back because there was no
Yeah.
reclassing in Maryland, and so we thought it was
Okay.
better for me to go to Virginia and get an extra year. And it's kind of crazy how I wound up getting into Episcopal. So I had lived in an apartment complex, and
Okay.
the dude that lived under us, that's Coach Kadim's dad, and he had wound up talking to my dad. Him, and my dad, wound up talking to stuff like that. And my dad was like, "Yeah, Cedric looking for a home." He was like, "Well, my son
Hmm.
just got the job at Episcopal. You just hit him up, like, see he could get his extra year back and stuff." And since then, like, um, it was history. We wound up
Yeah.
going to Episcopal. It was definitely a great opportunity for me. College prep school, high academics,
Hmm.
high football. It's boarding school, so it's like you
Yeah.
already in college without being in college. So I already
That's
already
right.
already had the being away from my parents, doing my own laundry, waking up, going to class by myself, by
Hmm.
my like doing all that stuff. So I kind
Yeah.
of I kind of already had that, and then it was definitely great up there. Going to my junior year, I definitely felt bigger, faster, and stronger. Getting that
Hmm.
extra year back for me as well. Then it was a different chip on my shoulder. Going there because I knew, like, God had blessed me with this opportunity, and a lot of people don't get another opportunity. So I was just like, I
Hmm.
I, I got to make this one count. Um, that year we had wound up winning the championship after being 2-7 previously. We wound up
Hmm.
being 6-7-2, winning the IEC championship, being Woodbury, our rival. Um, I wound up finishing with 1,000 yards that year. I was battling some foot injuries, so I ain't missed no games, but I was battling with some foot injuries, so I wasn't completely
Hmm.
healthy, and I was kind of frustrated about that. But I still made our conference and all state, first team all
Hmm.
conference, second team all state, and it was definitely a great feeling with them boys. Shout out to that Episcopal team. Those are my guys, honestly.
Yeah.
But I knew I had to come back different senior year. Me and my dad sat down and was like, we got to do it different. This is my last year.
Yeah.
Um, you definitely gotta be bigger, faster, and stronger. Like, it's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I came
Hmm.
back, I think, like 15 pounds heavier. I was faster. It wasn't just 15 pounds of fluff. Like, I can move with
Yeah.
this. So we
Yeah.
came back bigger, faster, and stronger. Coach Kadeem got
Yeah.
me with Walt Klein, who's this amazing speed coach, and I was still working with my other trainers as well. So I really grinded that summer.
Yeah.
I was a captain there as well. Um, and the rest is history. I
Yeah.
mean, my highlight of that year was probably when we had played a home game, Friday Night Lights against St. Stephen St. Agnes. I rushed for like 227 yards on 14 carries,
Hmm.
had a touchdown. I was balling that year. I was unstoppable. Like, I was rushing for like 200 yards, like almost every other game. It was definitely atonement to my linemen and my team as a whole, and also Coach Rogers too took a chance on me, and same to my family too. I was just blessed that they allowed me to be in this position,
Yeah.
and that they always stayed by my side for me.
Yeah.
And so that senior year was amazing. I won the championship again. Was first team all conference, first team all state. Then I was offense MVP when Washington
Hmm.
Post player after beating Georgetown Prep.
Hmm.
Had 170 yards on 22 carries and two touchdowns. Wound up beating them after being down by 14 points at half. It was just a truly surreal feeling, and that year I would say that was my favorite high school year ever. Like, it was
Hmm.
complete. It was on the only year I probably say in high school that I was complete. I was
Hmm.
healthy all year. It was definitely complete for me, and I was just
Yeah.
an atonement to my parents and my trainers and all the hard work that I had put in,
Yeah.
and I was just blessed enough to have it displayed
Hmm.
for all
Yeah.
9 games. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic to hear. Just as you mentioned, Friday Night Lights, but just having that regimen, that structure in place, the right people surrounding you to help you again succeed. So that's again, it's brilliant to hear. And hey, putting that no, I think you wore number two there in Episcopal, that maroon jersey.
Yeah.
Just like at Dickinson, what did that again mean to you personally here, Cedric?
So it's funny as you said that. So my high school years, it was I wore a whole bunch of numbers, but
Okay.
that that
Uh,
year in general. So at Episcopal two is like a little sacred number. So like everybody that wears that went crazy that year, the year prior. So the year before I had got it, it was this kid named Boom Jock, and he wound up
Okay.
committing a cow. He went
Hmm.
crazy. He was one of the reasons of why we as a team was able to win the conference championship and beat our rivals as well. He was
Hmm.
definitely an elite player, and they had a running back in 2017 who I wore that. His name was Paris Jones. He was really great, and he had rushed for 1,500 as well. So it was just a carry down number, and I
Yeah.
think now at Episcopal they vote on wearing number two because it's
Okay.
such a
Yeah.
sacred number, and it was just
Yeah.
like. And it was. I knew I wasn't I knew I had to carry on the tradition, and I knew I wasn't going to be the
Hmm.
first one to wear that number, and not
Yeah.
do it with that the people before me that wore
Yeah.
those numbers do, and the numbers that they put up. So that number was definitely a sacred number at Episcopal, and
Hmm.
I think everybody at that school can vouch for that because that number is just like everyone who wore it was leaders in and out of school.
Yeah.
Um, had a presence about them on the field that was just undeniable, and that you just
Hmm.
knew like we're never going to see this again. Like like it
Yeah.
was just like it was definitely different. It was definitely
Yeah.
different with that number, and it just made you play different because it's like all right, so you all right, so all them. So I was in my mind, I was just like all them were before me. I want to be the best one. You know what I mean? As good as type of player that I am, is that I'm
Yeah.
gonna be the best one. So I definitely say wearing that number it holds a different weight around the school, especially in at the history that it holds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, it's pressure, but you definitely lived up to the billing. I mean, it
yes,
met the
sir.
expectations head on, and you know, obviously, you were able to showcase that. Hey, it's just not about being an athlete, as you know, Cedric. It's being a student athlete and time management and organization, balancing that role out. Again, not everybody can do that, but again, at Dickinson, you were able, I mean, 3.4 GPA at Episcopal. I mean, 4.0, took two AP classes, received academic honors. You see that your commitment to football has always matched the dedication to, the classroom. What is it about amplifying that, embodying that? The fact is that basically, I mean, having again the right attitude and mindset with both playing football and then of course in the classroom.
Yeah, I would say, I talked about my dad a lot, but that's all I would say the academics is a testament to my mom.
Yeah.
My
Hmm.
mom is a very smart
Yeah.
lady. She has I think she has like 2 3 degrees. She has like 2 masters.
Hmm.
She I think she's currently going back to school again. My mom is a very, very intelligent lady, and she's always instilled in me about academics. My dad was always
Hmm.
football and she was academics, and since a
Hmm.
young age, my mom would be on me about, all right, did you do this? Did you study for this?
Yeah.
So I would say it's been instilled in me since I was young, about academics, and I play about
Yeah.
academics because if I didn't have my academics straight, I wasn't going to practice. Or
That's right.
I wasn't going to a game. It didn't matter what game it was, where it was at. Nah, my mom did not play about that.
Hmm.
She always made sure that, especially when I was in middle school and starting off in high school, she always made sure, all right, she knew all my teachers. She would come up there, you know what I mean? Like stuff that
Yeah.
mom does, moms do. But
Hmm.
yeah, I would say my mom definitely instilled that attitude towards me, and to take it seriously because it is a life after football.
Yeah.
Life doesn't stop after football. It is a life afterwards, and
Hmm.
that a lot of people don't adjust to that because they think football is everything, but it is a life afterwards, and what I want to
Yeah.
do in life afterwards, I know I gotta have the grades to
Yeah.
to have that
Yeah.
stuff. So it was just like I knew that, like, okay, if I kept my grades up, I'm gonna be able to play because I know my mom didn't play that.
Hmm.
Mom didn't play that at all. She did not play that. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fabulous to hear. in terms of course, you need that support, from the schools, both at Dickinson College, but also as well at Episcopal, just in terms of the student body, the administration, athletic departments. What did that mean to you, the rest of the teams there?
It meant a lot. To
Yeah.
just know I had support all around, and not just
Yeah.
by the coaches, but just by teachers too. I mean,
Hmm.
if you want to get into, starting off at Episcopal, I just had one of my high school teachers come to my football game. At
Hmm.
Dickinson.
Yeah.
Sat through the whole game, and I had another one of my classmates come from Episcopal come to Dickinson and watch me play.
Hmm.
It's just like it's just a great feeling to have because these people is an testament to why I'm here. They
Yeah.
helped me out, especially that teacher. You know what I mean? Mr. C, that's my guy, Mr. Collins. I was
Hmm.
in his class struggling with big data analytics, and that was a lot of code and stuff. He helped me all the time. He
Yeah.
always opened this door for me, like Cedric, if you need anything. Whether it's academics or anything, just let me know. And
Hmm.
same when it comes to Dickinson. My coaches and teammates always help me out. If I needed something, especially the older players on the team. If we had the same major, they would be like, "All right, we took
Hmm.
these classes before. Like, we can help you." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Especially um, if it was a poli sci thing. But yeah, it was just like it was definitely a great feeling knowing that I had a village
Yeah.
surrounding me and
Yeah.
and um and that cared for me not only just as a football player or a student, but also just about life,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
as who I am as a person, and they always wanted what's best for me. So I'm just grateful for that in both
Yeah.
communities here at Dickinson and Episcopal.
Yeah, I hit it right on the nail. I mean, just that's what's it takes is a village. It's so
Yeah.
essential. Again, the right people having advocates and mentors in those teachers to guide you along, the pathway and, again, lead you, not only to finishing, and completing high school, getting that, high school diploma, and then of course a college degree. So again, that's magnificent to hear. I know you mentioned your parents, your family, the youngest of five kids. Grew up in
Yeah.
Columbia, Maryland. Come from a close-knit, medium-sized family. You know your parents are your biggest supporters, and as you mentioned beforehand, your dad handled everything when it came to football, your training, your preparation, and mindset, and your mom on the flip side with academics. And I know that again with their guidance, you've learned how to master the art of balancing out athletics in school, and are grateful for what they've done for you and helped you get to this point. I mean, what does that mean? I mean, to have not only your parents but siblings, part of this journey in football, and then of course academics as well.
That's a great feeling. Again, same
Yeah,
with the previous question.
yeah,
It's definitely a great
yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
My siblings were always very, very loving towards me, and definitely
Hmm.
and any road that I took, they were there by my
Yeah,
side. My older sister Danera, I wound up staying with her when I was at Episcopal. So when I used to come home, she lived like 5 minutes from the school. So I'll leave my
yeah,
car at her
yeah,
house and then like head over Uber to school and stuff like that. I'm really grateful for
yeah,
her. I stayed with her for summers, so I can make it to summer workouts with my head coach at Episcopal and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's just little things like that, like she didn't have to, even though that's my sister, she didn't have to, she
yeah,
opened her doors for me, she fed me, like I stayed there for free. Like I love my sister to this day.
yeah,
It was definitely a great feeling having all my siblings there. I know when I was younger, I used to play youth football. We were all like my games would be on Saturday. The whole house would get ready. We would all get ready. We would all leave out at the same time. Like it was like Saturdays was definitely for me,
yeah.
and I definitely feel appreciative of that because they didn't have
Hmm.
to. They didn't have to come to my games. They could have stayed
Yeah.
home. They got homework. You know what I mean? Like, they're a little bit older than me, but they got homework. They want to hang out with their friends instead of being at their
Yeah.
best game. My parents never forced them to come. They came on their own will, and that was just
Hmm.
like love. That was definitely love, and it definitely spoke volumes.
Yeah.
Definitely spoke major volumes because I knew that I always had them by my side. I,
Hmm.
and no matter what journey I took, I knew I always had them. Like
Yeah.
it'd be crazy. Every Saturday they'd be getting their hair done. We all walking at the same time, looking fly and fresh. Like I truly remember that. My mom had the camera on the side. She would record the games. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing. It was amazing just having that love, just having that
Yeah.
love for my family. And I'm blessed to have that. I'm
Yeah.
truly blessed to have that love from my
Yeah.
family. That's all I can really say about that. Is just I'm just
Yeah.
blessed to have them and to have my family in my life. Not only my
Mhm.
siblings, but my aunt, my uncle, my grandmother, my grandfather. My whole family. They've been very supportive of me throughout this
Yeah.
journey of football. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, just having that inner core and then extended family as well, and everyone
right.
be able to share that special bond and connection with you. I mean, it again. It just it's again incredible to hear that. As you said, football. You started out when you're young, been part of your life as long as you can remember. Just having that drive, that passion, that purpose. I mean, starting out 4 years old, playing for the state Seminoles.
Yeah,
And they hold a very special place in your heart here. The fact that they taught you about that fundamentals, the discipline to be a competitor, that experience, and then winning a chip. By the time you were 7 years old, and then staying with them
yeah,
until nine. Just describe that, Cedric.
yeah. Severance Simmons was definitely a time.
Yeah.
My dad was the coach. Well, I didn't start out playing for my dad. I was playing
Okay.
up, like I said. Tackle
Hmm.
football, my dad was kind of crazy for this, but tackle football started at the age of 7, and like I said, I was
Hmm.
4
Yeah.
playing, and so at Severance, so I was 4 playing with 7-year-olds. You could already see how that went. The next year I wound up playing again at
Yeah.
7, and then I just wound up staying with that team and playing up with them and playing up and my second year of youth football. My dad was the head coach of that team. We wound up winning the championship. We went to
Yeah.
states. We went to states my first year. My second year we went to we won the championship. We didn't want to go to states that year,
Hmm.
but we won the championship, and I stayed with them till I was 9, and
Okay.
it was definitely a great feeling.
Yeah.
I like Severin it was the best. Like, talk about a camaraderie and a bond up there.
Yeah.
It was all love up there. I spent my majority of my youth up there. I think my dad still goes up there and checking on them and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was definitely a great time. I played with a lot of great players. Got a lot of great friends from that,
Hmm.
and just met a lot of great coaches and stuff like that. It was just truly a great time.
Yeah.
Playing youth football there. I think it was the first team in the county having 3 different jerseys. Like we was definitely an experience and a
Yeah.
time. And all the times I've been there, we always had a positive record. We was
Yeah.
always e- was always either in the championship or lost in the semifinals. We
Hmm.
were very competitive. We were scrimmaging teams outside of the county. We was going to DC, Baltimore. We was going everywhere,
Wow.
scrimmaging
Okay.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, playing for my
Yeah.
pops, playing for my pops is like uh no, nobody. We got no friends out here. That's what he said. We got no friends out here. Anybody and everybody can get it, and
Yeah.
and and, and that's certainly what it was. Everybody around across the whole Mason Dixon line knew our name.
Yeah.
It was because of my dad and the other coaches as well. He definitely made sure he put us on the map at a young age
Yeah.
too. And we was just playing everybody. You wasn't seeing that in the county. A lot of teams didn't play. You would just stick to your county and who's in that league.
Hmm.
We would go out and play like different people, and they would and
Yeah.
like I said, we was the first team that ever had like 3 different jerseys. We would switch our
Yeah.
jerseys, and like what's that? But nah, yeah, it was definitely time. It was great.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved it. And
Yeah.
I do see myself in the future, like always going back there and like like helping
Hmm.
out because that's where I started off, and I owe everything what I know about football to that place.
Yeah.
Like it was amazing. It was amazing up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see myself in the future going back and
Hey,
helping out.
I mean, you'd be a valuable asset. I mean, with the experience you have and being able to pay it forward, give back to your community. I think, that's
Yes,
it's a
sir.
satisfying feeling up. And then went on to play it for Hamilton, sixth through eighth grade. Um, I mean, as you said, going up against sixth graders when you were a fourth grader, but as you said, I mean that pushed you. I mean that challenged you. The fact that both mentally and physically,
Yeah.
and winning back to back championships. Is said ranked in Maryland, going across the country. I mean, being part of that competitive high level program, and as you said, it taught you to be accountable and play for a team.
Yeah, it did, especially at a young age. I wound up leaving Severn and playing and played at a high level when I went to Hamilton. Shout out
Hmm.
to Coach Rev, shout out to
Hmm.
Coach Roper, shout out to all them dudes. Um, I wound up playing at Hamilton as a fourth grader. I remember my dad first took me out there to practice. I was like, "What the hell? Like, what are we doing here?" But it was amazing. It was definitely truly an experience in its own. It taught me how
Hmm.
to like. I've been playing up my whole life, so it was nothing different. But going from elementary school to playing against middle school is just kind of different. And
Yeah.
so I kind of got adjusted quickly. Um, and it taught me and it gave me a different type of attitude towards the game. It definitely showed me that I can play with anybody on the field, no matter what
Hmm.
age, what size. You know what I mean? It definitely showed me a lot of things. And then seventh grade year, we wound up winning a championship with
Yeah.
Coach Rev. That was a truly great feeling. We was that team was just special. That team was very very special. I know I say that about Pittsburgh too, but that team was special.
Yeah.
Man. That team
Yeah.
that team was special. It just taught me a lot. That year taught me a lot, especially about it was my first time playing on a team that had more than 20 kids. So that was a different feeling. I think at Hamilton we had like
Hmm.
40. We had like 40 kids on the team. And I never
Okay.
played with 40 kids. I was
Yeah.
lucky to even have 20 kids at Severn. Like it was everybody played both sides at Severn. And then when you go to
Okay.
Hamilton, not everybody playing both sides. Like so
Hmm.
it was kind of different. It's kind of different. But it taught me a lot about myself. Taught me how to expand out and go into a different environment and be who I know I can be. And
Yeah.
at Hamilton, we was playing ranked teams back to back. We was playing a lot of ranked teams, especially at youth football. We was playing a lot of ranked teams in Maryland. We was ranked in Maryland at number one.
Hmm.
So we were playing a lot of ranked teams weekly. I was definitely getting mentally and physically like pushed. I would say, because it's a lot. It's great players on the other side of the ball. So, like I said, it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me I could play at a high level. Definitely did
Yeah.
teach me I could play at a high level at a young age.
Yeah. That's terrific to hear. Okay. I know that social media, highlight videos, ex-Romy known as Twitter, Instagram have become, critical in terms of getting your name out there. And of course, with this interview, tonight here for Top Preps, this recruiting exposure package interview, I mean, again, how vital has that been for you, here, Cedric?
Yeah, it's definitely been very vital. Just getting my name out there.
Hmm.
Pushing myself. Posting on Twitter, posting workout videos, posting my
Yeah.
film, also posting my grades too, just so people
Yeah.
that just not just a football player. Just social
Hmm.
media plays a big hand. Also
Yeah.
TikTok as well. A lot of stuff like that. It's just it
Hmm.
plays a big hand because it expands your reach.
That's right.
Expands it. You could be somebody from China could be looking at your stuff, or somebody from
That's right.
with the West Coast could be looking at it. Just expands
Hmm.
your outreach and expands your name. And so
Yeah.
my dad and I we talked and we just been adding on Twitter, like just trying to
Hmm.
expand my name. And
Yeah.
it's working, but
Hmm.
you can never do too much. You always always trying to get your name out there. You should always want to get your name out there.
Hmm.
And so yeah, social media plays a big hand because it's just like I want a lot of people to know who I am,
Yeah.
and social media is just is a way to get it done,
That's right.
And
Yeah.
so with all these new apps and stuff out there, all these new updates, like
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
like
there's a multitude of them, definitely. Okay, with all the pressure you have playing football, academics, you need your hobbies, which is, you've always worked out, which has been a constant in your life, something your dad again pushed you early on and to become a habit and part of who you are. You love watching movies. And I found this so fascinating that you're currently taking an art class that you really enjoy, that you work with charcoal. In addition, watching TV, just having that relaxation, that peace of mind, tranquility. I mean, how good is it just to take a step, just to like, calm your mind, take some deep breaths and just, it's all about developing, of course, those positive habits and rituals. But I'm sure for you, that's like, again, has been critical for you as well.
Yeah, I'll say it's great. Definitely taking art class. It touches a different part of my brain than every other
Hmm.
class that I take. All the classes are reading demanding and stuff like that, like reading demanded and like,
Hmm.
instruction based. Art class is just like, you know, it's freelance. You can. I know for our art final, I'm drawing like people. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that that is fun. It definitely
Hmm.
takes it definitely lets you get away from. It's a getaway from other classes, and
Hmm.
it's definitely something that I kind of like picked up and was like, I like this. Like I like doing this.
Yeah.
I really enjoy doing art. I enjoy
Yeah.
art class. I enjoy um working with charcoal and stuff like that. But yeah, I definitely say that I was definitely blessed to like um be able to take that class because it definitely allowed me to expand who I am.
Hmm.
Because I never had taken an art class before, so it definitely helped me expand
Yeah.
um my tools and my toolbox. So I'm
Hmm.
not saying I'm the best drawer, but I just it's just not a lot of athletes, out there taking art class.
Yeah.
It's just something different, and I always wanted to be different, and so
Yeah.
I like it.
I think just developing new skills, testing your limits, and trying out something new never hurts. And I think that that's
Right.
the thing. You need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to again sometimes be unique, and I think that can always never be wrong. I think you never it always can lead to something again that's positive. Hey, before you get the final word and message here, Cedric, in terms of for with younger athletes and kids, just what your message and advice, because it's so competitive when you started out young, even
Right.
through high school, now in college. Uh, you know, it's just social media now, so it's it's hard to separate yourself from the rest of the pack. But I know that again, football, family, um, you know, I mean, basically it shaped you into the person you're today. You have that discipline, those values. Obviously displaying the techniques, essential to succeed in this world on a daily basis. What would you say to those, kids out there, today?
I would say always bet on yourself. Um, no matter what, always bet on yourself.
Hmm.
Um, comparison comparison is not good. I
Hmm.
forgot what they say. It's thief of joy, something like that. Some phrase like that. Don't ever compare
Hmm.
yourself to the next person.
That's right. Yeah.
Be you, be yourself.
Hmm.
You know, always stay humble and hungry, and don't always follow into this social media stuff. You know your path and you know your journey is going to
Hmm.
be different than the next person. So always stay level headed and humble
Hmm.
and grateful too, because you don't know when your time is coming, and then when your
That's right.
time does come, shine light on the people that are just like you.
Hmm.
That especially if you feel like you're being overlooked by size, something like that, something that I always struggle with in my
Hmm.
life, you know, just look at things that you do well,
Yeah.
because not everybody's built different. Not everybody's gonna be the same person. So
Yeah.
just don't always look at the next person. Always stay true to yourself and stay focused on yourself and put in the work. If you put in the work and do the time, then you're gonna be set.
Yeah.
It's nothing that nobody could take from you. If you do the work and you put in the time, you do the work that
Hmm.
nobody sees, the late nights, the cold winters, the long
Mhm.
runs, the heated days, the throwing up. Like that's a lot of people don't see,
Yeah.
So if you know, and you put in the work, then God's gonna put it all in the path for you.
Mhm. That's excellent advice. I think you could be a motivational speaker as well.
Appreciate
Hey,
it.
Cedric, well deserved. You get the final word and message here for family, friends, teammates, coaches, Dickinson College, Episcopal High School, Pilati, De Mata, State Seminoles. I know your hometown, said as well, Columbia, Maryland here. Uh, I know there are a lot of people you want to thank, and obviously you want to let everybody out there know that again, you're in the transfer portal, 2 years, left of eligibility plus red shirt. So I wanted to give you the floor.
No, I just want to say thank you for everybody that's been in my journey. My parents, my siblings, my uncles, my aunts, Coach Sean, um, Coach Rev, um, Coach Kadeem, Coach Pop. Uh, it's Coach Rogers, um, Coach Dave. A lot of people that helped me out there. I just want to say thank you to you guys, and thank you to thank you to all the people that helped me to be where I'm at today because it takes a village. It takes a village to I truly know what that saying means, but it does take a village to to raise a child, man. And you guys, I'm truly grateful for you guys, especially all the schools that I went through and all the lessons that I've learned throughout
Mhm.
meeting different people, playing in different environments, um, being a part of different things. So I would just say I'm thankful for everybody that's helped me on my journey. Like I said, I know there's plenty more. I just can't
Mhm.
think of it on the top of my head, but I just
Yeah.
want you guys to know that I truly appreciate y'all. And I thank you for letting me and allowing me to live my dream. Which is hopefully which will be being a Division 1 football player and playing at a high level. So I just really appreciate you, all you guys, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well said. Hey, Cedric, again, a true honor and privilege being able to speak with you about your football career. Uh, again, all your success here at Dickinson College, which you achieved, and there's more to come. And looking forward to seeing, where you land next.
Thank you, and I'm
Thank you.
truly appreciative for this interview.